Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be answering a very important question. And that question is, can humans really forget God? We're seeing in today's world that secularity is growing rapidly. Atheism is increasing all over the world. And Christianity is becoming less relevant to many of the young ones who are growing up now. People look to technological inventions when they think of how the world's problems are going to be solved and how we're going to ensure our future, right? They don't really see God as the means for that anymore. They see the works of their own hands as what's going to ensure that. And the question is, will this trend continue to such a time where God will be completely absent in our lives? That is what I'm going to be discussing in this video. But there's something I have to first of all establish, and that is the ability for us to exercise faith in God, believe Bible stories, be inspired to do what's right, actually comes from God Almighty. If you look at when the apostles were preaching about Jesus Christ, his death, resurrection, and so on, the people who believed in them believed because God had touched their hearts. If you read Acts chapter 16 verse 14, that Lydia's heart was opened so that she attended unto the things which were spoken of Paul. So it's like a key that God unlocks so that people can start being inspired to do what's right. Similarly, if for one reason or another human beings offend God, he can also do the opposite. He can also remove that inspiration. He could remove that drive. And all of a sudden, the ability to exercise faith disappears. That's when people begin to doubt the truths they used to believe in. They begin to look to the works of their own hands because that's what's physical. They no longer are able to believe in things that are spiritual. If you look at the nation of Israel, you'll see how they gradually descended to that. At the beginning, during the days of Moses and Joshua, God was always talking to the people because they were in a righteous state. But by the time they began to engage in idolatrous practices, all of a sudden, that inspiration, that nearness began to leave. So that during the days of Samuel, before Samuel became the prophet that he became, there was no open vision. If you read 1 Samuel chapter 3 verse 1, the prophets were no more being talked to. Traditions like the Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, they were long forgotten. If you read Nehemiah chapter 8 verse 17 and 2 Chronicles chapter 35 verse 18. How did they forget? Is it because they didn't have the law? No, it's because the interest to read it disappeared. The culture changed. People just suddenly began to do other things. And God explained this in Hosea chapter 5 verses 6 and 15, where he said that when they would begin to seek him, he would withdraw himself. So that's when they begin to lose faith. The inspiration that the prophets had to be able to prophesy and say things that were right, God took that so that they would be able to reflect and realize we've done something wrong and then return so that God can put that back in again. He said, I will go and return to my place. So they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. So how does this connect to the trends that we're witnessing in our time? God Almighty is similarly pulling the plug on our spiritual system, just as he did in the past. The reason is because Christianity, the institution that Jesus Christ set up, was turned by some mischievous people into a centralized empire that had alliances with political leaders, which the Bible describes as fornication. If you read Revelation chapter 17 verses 1 to 6 and chapter 18 verses 2 to 3, because it's an unholy alliance, an alliance not based on truth, but rather one based on a common desire for power and control over Earth's populations outside of God's directive. People called bishops, popes, now made spirituality to be like a monopoly, a business that they could run as they wished. They would teach whatever doctrines they wanted to exploit people. They dehumanized and massacred populations throughout history because they felt that they could. They used spirituality as an excuse for all that, and they deceived people. So that spirituality turned from something that was supposed to be of the heart to something physical. Worshiping images, worshiping church buildings, seeing places of worship as the worship itself rather than the heart, so that people begin to hold iniquity in their hearts while just seeing worship as something of the outside. So God wanted to kill that system. And the only way he can do that is to pull the plug on spirituality. And that's why, if you look at the false prophets today, those who teach lies, they're losing respect in today's world. Nobody's going to believe them when they say you'll go to hell if you don't support us or something, because people don't care anymore. Now they have to start preaching prosperity gospels because they can't scare you into supporting them. They have to lure you. They have to promise you everything, right? Speak great swelling words of vanity. If you read 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 18, because they're losing that respect. This is in fulfillment of what Jesus Christ said in Matthew chapter 7, verses 21 to 23, that they would begin to say in that day, have we not prophesied in your name and done many wonders in your name and cast out demons and devils in your name? And then Jesus Christ would tell them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. And the depart is not a physical thing where Jesus Christ is pushing them away. No. Jesus Christ as king just pulls the plug, and all of a sudden the false prophets lose their respect. The politicians lose their respect. People don't believe in them anymore. People criticize them. People talk trash about them. People don't attend church services anymore, nor take the doctrine seriously. The children of today's generation are no longer growing up believing in those traditions. They see the story of Noah as myth. They see Jesus Christ as just a historical figure, not as the Son of God. All of these biblical ideas, they don't make sense to people anymore because God has pulled the plug to teach some of those apostates a lesson. So what is the lesson for us as Christians today? People who want to do what's right. This is a time of mourning, a time of lamenting, just as Jeremiah the prophet did when he saw Jerusalem being destroyed for its iniquities. This is not a time to embrace secularity and see worldly inventions as the means of doing what some people call saving the planet or ensuring our future. By 2050, we're going to go green and all those things to try to make it look like we're the only ones here. No, we should be mourning about the fact that humanity has descended to this level and pray that God should spare us, his people. Give us the strength to be able to continue exercising faith in him and not lose it because of doubt about his existence that is growing in the world. And we were told or advised to do this in Joel chapter 2, verses 15 to 17, which emphasized the urgency of this moment we're living in. He said, blow the trumpet in Zion, sanctify a fast, call a solemn assembly, gather the people, sanctify the congregation, assemble the elders, gather the children and those that suck the breasts. Let the bridegroom go forth of his chamber and the bride out of her closet. Let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, spare thy people, O Lord, and give not thine heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, where is their God? People are already saying that now. People who have been taken over by secularity. Oh, we're happy about the progress we're making and so on. We're really moving towards what we should be. No, we should disagree with them and mourn, just like Lot did in Sodom and Gomorrah. If you read 2 Peter chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. Because that's when God will see us and ensure that we don't forget about him like the rest of humanity will. So that's where I'm going to stop on answering this question. Can humans really forget God? The sad and unfortunate answer is yes. And in fact, it's not difficult. The moment God pulls the plug, that's it. It happens, and finding our way back is practically impossible. So if you like the things that you heard, then I'd greatly appreciate if you click the like button and the subscribe button. And if you want to know when we make our next video, you can click the notification bell. Have a great day, and God bless you.